My name is Scott Rankin. I'm a video artist, photographer. I've been making camera-based images for 30 plus 35. My formal education is in art. I have a BFA from Tyler School of Art in Philadelphia. I studied painting, printmaking, and photography, and I think I came out of there with my BFA show was primarily photographs, but I had a lot of prints in that show. I went to graduate school at UCLA, and University of California at Los Angeles. My MFA is from there. Probably around 2002, 2003, I started trying out digital camera, trying out digital photography, and started photographing the sky just for fun. The sky in Illinois is always changing. And then those images started to pile up, digital images pile up very quickly. So I think I have now something like 37,000 images. And I started to see patterns and started to get excited about things that were happening in the sky. And with that level of shooting ratio, I probably, it's very easy to pull out. I think I picked 700 so far that are worth, and maybe from that I've printed 40. I think the photographs that interest me the most are immersive in that they're not pictures of something, they're a picture of a space that's both shallow and expansive. They look flat and yet they are very active spatially. Every once in a while there's a picture of a cloud up against a blue sky, and that's because that cloud is interesting. But more I'm interested in the field of the sky, and also how the frame of the camera alters the way in which you see that field. The prints I make are large, primarily because then I can create this feeling of a field. And I like when they both operate as an object, like, oh, look, there's that thing in the sky, and also just as a kind of abstract space. There are others that I've started to isolate that are more about what it's like to be in the sky. So there are references to flying in between cloud layers, or looking at the horizon of the cloud, which is where the clouds form against the land, and that edge is really interesting to me. So above it is the sky, and below it is you see land. And so those are some newer images that I'm beginning to photograph when I'm flying, and also isolate as very successful. So there's maybe a third group, which is what I think of as the portraits, and they are like this image here. They're just clouds that have a personality. Sometimes they look like something. I have an image that looks like a Fender Stratocaster, for instance. No, sorry, yes, a Stratocaster. This is Mighty Mouse, maybe. I have one that looks like a squirrel. And there are others that are just interesting in their shape and their personality. And as I photograph, I keep finding more ways to think about the space of the sky, both from the ground and from the air, in between layers, from high altitude looking down, from median altitudes in a small airplane. Also, for many years, I've been photographing, videotaping out airliner windows of the sky. There's something about the landscape and the cloudscape, the sky moving by sequentially, slowly by your window, that fascinates me. And I spend, even before I started documenting that, I spent most every flight staring out the window continuously. I also fly small airplanes, and though that's a different experience because you're at a lower altitude usually, and it's bumpier, so you get a more sort of visceral feeling from the image. And I'm still trying to work out how these things will go into a time-based thing with an arc that makes sense. But right now I think they're more real-time things that are meant to just be experienced. You can spend as much time as you like with them or walk away. So in this show there is a video that's mostly a combination of real-time flight images of the sky. And they're meant to just be watched without any, there's no story, there's no structure to them. They come and they go on an eternal loop. I've always been interested in flight and in flying. The best part about going somewhere, in my opinion, is going there in an airplane and looking out the window. In 2002, I started taking flying lessons and actually got my license in 2003, 1 week and 1 day after the Wright brothers' first flight. And so ever since then, I've been flying. And that just reframed the sky for me. I could see it from different positions and also different altitudes, because in an airliner you're above the weather, and in a small plane you're often below the weather or just above slightly, and so you get a different sense of the space of the sky. It feels bigger, and it's also not just out your little window, you're surrounded by it. So that just got me more interested in continuing to videotape the sky and to be in it. I think my biggest experience with these pictures is perceptual. I want people who see these to feel the space that you feel when you're in the sky. It's both still and yet moving. And I want the images to be, I think they are fleeting, that they don't ever just settle down, because there is, in most images, not an object to look at, so that you're always moving and thinking, and the image is shifting before you, much like what the sky itself does. And I think in that way it's, I wouldn't say meditation, but it's a kind of place that you can dwell in. And the details, the details that occur in the ripples and eddies of clouds and weather are fascinating, and they're also extremely fleeting. So that one thing the photographs do is arrest that in a way that presents a moment to you that you can spend time with and look at, because these things come and go very quickly. When photographing them, sometimes I'll be with an event for 20 minutes, and then from that comes one image, or two, because the thing is changing so quickly. I'm happy that I'm showing these at McLean County Arts Center, because it allows me to show them in my community and let the people I know here know what I'm up to. And it's a place where I can see the space that the center has is a really great space, I think, for this group of photographs. And I've always enjoyed going there to see shows.
That's good.
Yeah, you have to cut that laugh out.
It's
Yeah,
a tricky
I know,
question.
I know.
Yeah.